Hello and welcome to this new video. Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to be taking a look at the deployment we can utilize on the UKTC round 1. Currently the mission pack is set for LGT, which is happening soon, and this video we're going to run through the tips and tricks and how we utilize some key deployment units from the Death Guard army, mainly being the Poxwalkers and the Spawn. Hopefully the tips for this video are applicable to your army as well. If you aren't playing Death Guard, if you do have an infiltrating unit that is able to sort of get out and score early objectives, and of course the annoying sort of trading unit, which is what the Spawn unit is for Death Guard, that can scout and move quite fast and through walls. Maybe they are applicable for you. But this is going to focus on the Death Guard army, and we're going to take a look. First up is the round 1 of UKTC. Just a thank you to all of the people who have subscribed to the channel so far. If you do enjoy the video, please do like and subscribe. Leave any comments down below for any potential deployment tricks I have missed, or if you found any of this useful. If you are going to LGT, let me know, and I will check up on you. Unfortunately, I can't go to LGT this year. I did go last year, and I had an absolutely amazing time, and I'm pretty jealous that there's going to be over 1,000 people going this year, but I'm going to be watching and checking BCP and seeing how all the people from the Death Guard community and all the people that I know from other communities are doing. So let me know, and we're going to jump into the deployments now. Thanks everybody. And taking a look at round 1 here, we are on the sweeping engagements, and it is Terraform. So Terraform, there's a really strong ability to go first. If you can terraform all 3 mid objectives, which is something we can do with infiltrating and scout units, it really puts the opposing player under a lot of pressure, because they would have to, well, not have to, but they'd be under pressure to use 3 units activations to stop those terraforms going off. So the fact that we can have infiltrating units and scouting units really allows us to start strongly on the terraform mission. So this is why most of the time the first drop I put down will be these Poxwalkers here. It obviously depends if the opponent does have any infiltrating units. If they don't, you probably just go through your normal process of deployment. But if there is a threat of the opponent placing an infiltration unit, these Poxwalkers are probably the first things to go down. It would be unlikely for the opponent to put infiltrating units down on this, because with this being our natural expansion, they could potentially just have an annoying thing just behind here, which would stop, obviously, because of the 9 inches, was being able to drop here. So I probably wouldn't risk it if there are any infiltration units on the opponent team. But placing these here in this sort of formation means you are not in any sort of danger from this angle if they do push out. Anything that would want to connect with these in terms of melee would leave them very open to a punchback. Obviously, if they charge here, they would have to end up in base-to-base contact with them, because we're 1 inch in the wall on this wall here. So they would end up in this position, or potentially down here, and potentially even consolidate onto the objective if they wanted to. And it would leave a firing line up in here, or indeed anything from down here. So it's a good trade piece for you here. As mentioned, if you get first turn, you probably just spread out. You could even one inch the wall there, or if you start a terraform here, or whatever it is, it's just a really powerful start to the game having this Poxwalker unit here, because they'll have to connect with it to sort of stop you from being able to do anything. And in Champions specifically, I would probably start with -1 to hit. So if they did go first, it's unlikely that these Poxwalkers are dying to anything that's not a serious combat threat. So here it's a really strong position, because the only way that they're getting an angle on it is sort of by here, and by bringing a shooting unit out to this sort of angle, you can stay safe and still shoot it from down here with, say, a heavy blade launcher drone, or maybe even a Predator or something like that, or even this angle, and you're sort of free from the rest of the army shooting. So if they're trading into a 65-point unit with whatever it is they're shooting on melee, it's usually you're up trading here. And if you go first, let's say you get the Terraform off, and you are in a very good position. Next up, and not specifically next drop, but I do like to sort of pair up a Potswalkers and a spawn unit. So the spawn unit they're just in here. They're safe where they are, so there's no imminent threat to them. But obviously, they do get the 6-inch scout. So if they were to come 6 inches forward, they are obviously not touching the objective, but they are in a really strong position to back up any sort of melee threat that does come. If the Potswalkers end up sort of 1 inch in the wall here and terraforming, those spawn can end up just tucking in nicely just down here, and they would be a nice heroic threat if they needed to, and they would be exuding a lot of threat towards the opponent the next turn, because obviously 8 inches gets them out here, and then you've got a threat of a charge onto anything on their home objective. But also it would be the contagion would be really useful to spread going into turn 2, because then you've got your Death Shroud drop, which is something that the opponent is always going to be wary of. So if you can partner up the Potswalkers with a spawn and keep the spawn semi-protected from sort of a charge threat and not be able to be tied up, then it's a really strong position on this flank. So the spawn partnering with the Potswalkers is a common thing that I tend to do, and I do across the board. So yeah, if you are running them together, this is a way that you can utilize them. So moving on to the sort of center and middle of the board, these Potswalkers might look like they're in a sort of a weird position, but one of the key things we're doing with them here is we are giving the opponent a headache for area denial. It's unlikely that they're going to be able to charge through here, specifically the way that these guys are placed. They should be 1 inch in the wall, but they are denying a big area denial score for them turn 1, which is obviously something you'd love to see going first. But if we can just put these Potswalkers here in an unknown place, then it stops them from scoring those points easily. They aren't really doing too much else, but they are protecting. They are working as a screen for something in the back. There's a nice big juicy spot here for something that people that know me probably know what goes there. But yeah, the Potswalkers are very useful here. It's not making a massive amount of use out of Infiltrator, but I'd say it's another cheap unit that you can put in a position to deny your opponent doing something early. And if you do go first, you've just got a nice simple 5-inch walk out onto the objective and scoring Terraform again. You only have to put one out there if you really want to score that, and then you are hiding the rest. And then obviously if they do commit shooting into this Potswalker unit that's only going to kill a few, you just kill one and the rest of the unit's safe. Or you can go for the YOLO play, advance them if you really want to, or go for a charge or whatever it is. Who knows what's going on? But these Potswalkers here denying the area denial is a very good use of that infiltration ability. And no prizes for the person who guessed why there was a weird sort of hole shaped here. Another thing I like to do with these spawn is potentially be quite aggressive with them, and by having them here, it allows me to go either way. So the spawn will fit just if you do a 6-inch move, you will just get within the area denial bubble. So again, that is now 2 units they have to commit to be able to kill. You will be up against the wall to do this. You kind of have to be with a 6-inch move. So anything that can charge them, but anything that's charging 4 wound T7 spawn with a 5-up feel no pain that does the lethal liquor ability back to them and opens them up to a potential heroic from the Potswalkers. They're not going to do anything back to them, but you can end up basing the unit to make them less deadly, which means you've also got potentially free movement as well up onto there. So it's not something that most people want to deal with. And again, if they then see area denial, are they going to want to put whatever piece they were going to put in within the 3-inch bubble just to score 2 points? Maybe, but if they do, that unit's probably dead the turn after. So that's a really powerful way that you can set up with your Potswalkers and this spawn in the middle. And the other thing you can do with these spawn, if you're happy and you say you go first, you can put them back to where they were. And instead of going across there, which again is another powerful thing, because you can just move their 8 inches into the middle and connect to something here, because they almost certainly will have something on this sort of ledge. They can be an annoyance in there and spreading contagion, or you can go the other way and go, actually, I need to secure the west side objective, and an 8-inch move gets you on here and allows you to terraform here. And you can try and hide as much as you want. So you can potentially put this guy down here and just tow into the objective down here, and that would give you some sort of protection, specifically like across map or potentially down here. But it gives you flexibility here because you're always going to get your scouts off no matter what with these guys. So go into this sort of little nook and cranny to deny every denial if you go second, or go in this way if you go first to, as I mentioned, get the 3 primaries on the go with the terraforms. So moving on to your opponent's sort of natural expansion here. As I mentioned before, over on our side, it's really tricky to infiltrate anything here that will remain safe. The Poxwalkers, there's too many bases, and you're opening yourself up to shooting fairly easily. But you could do it, but usually if I have 3 units of Poxwalkers and I've got these 2 sort of mapped out here, the last one's just going in here for deep striding L and holding my home. So the 3rd Chaos Spawn unit, if you really need it, has a neat little trick it can do on this sort of side. So you can go here, and if you go first, say move forward, do whatever you need to do. And if you go second, you can potentially just hide behind this room, obviously with the 6 inches you get there. But if you move the 6 inches with these guys here, and obviously they're circle bases, so you can rotate them, there's a line you can pretty much get where they're not shootable by sort of anything in here, and not suitable by anything sort of realistically here. So it's not ideal, it's not perfect, but if you want to play that sort of semi-annoying pressure list and they don't have anything that's good at killing spawn behind here, you can sort of scout these forward as far as they'll get, and it cuts off the angles down here to shoot them off with any sort of reliability. So obviously you'll be getting cover as well. 4-up save isn't great, but if they're committing lots of shooting down this way, then hopefully you're able to pressure a little bit stronger on the other flank. It's not something that I regularly do. I generally only have 2 units to spawn, and this is almost always a spot for one of them. And this one's a bit more flexible, but as I say, I do like to pair the spawn and the Poxwalkers together to sort of have the actions on the flank that I need, and the contagion spreading and the annoying unit. The next thing that we want to do then is we want to figure out which of the cards we're going to be happy with from the secondary mission deck. Most of the people are still playing tactical. Fixed is good against certain army types, but the general, I think, overwhelming majority of players are still playing secondaries. So there are a number of ones that we can't do first turn, examples Display of Might or Defend Stronghold, but there are certain things that we want to make sure that we can definitely do to first turn, and specifically on missions like Terraform, where there is an action to be performed by a unit. If we can ensure that we can still do whatever is required if it is an action, that's an even better position for us. So, for example, if we get Cleanse on this on turn 1 and we're going first, we can move out. We can potentially put a spawn on here to do the Terraform, and we can put a Poxwalker out, as we mentioned, just out on the side here, and that's scoring both Terraform and Cleanse here for us. I would probably, with these spawn, move out as far as I can, just as a move block. So yes, they can move out here, but if they're charging here, they're probably not touching the Poxwalker in this instance, and that's pretty much guaranteeing that we're going to be scoring the Cleanse and the Terraform here. And again, on this side here on our natural expansion, that's an easy secondary just to pick up max points on. We don't need to, in terms of Cleanse, interact with this objective over here. And again, a lot of people are bringing infiltration units now, so it's the most likely position that they will be, is covering sort of their home objective here. So we don't necessarily need to plan for this. We can sort of organize around controlling the middle if we go first, and controlling our natural. And that's what we're set up to do here with these like paired units of spawn and Poxwalkers. So yeah, we can do secure no man's land, easy enough. We can do extend battle lines very easily. And any of the action units we are obviously very easily set up to do. So if we need to sabotage, we can sabotage in here with the Poxwalkers or the spawn. One common thing that I do is with the Tallyman, he's happy to just chill out down here, so he can just walk up his 5 inches and be outside of our deployment zone and in a terrain piece. So the Tallyman is very good for doing sabotage down here, or even recover assets, because you can have your poxwalkers on home in this position doing it, which is very safe, and the Tallyman down here. And that's an easy way for you to score recover assets or sabotage. And then you've got these units up here scoring you your Terraform or your Cleanse or your Secure No Man's Land or your Extend Battle Lines. So all of the things that could come up and surprise you first turn, you are making sure that you've got a good ability to cover those things. One of the sort of cards that could potentially screw you over is the Extend Battle Lines. But again, you could potentially do that still. You might not want to overextend too much, but you could get these spawn that have scouted here. They get an H move just there, or you can potentially advance and try and keep them as safe as possible. And then again, those poxwalkers, you probably aren't going to fit them all in this little hole, but you could then decide, right, well, I'm going to use these as a move block screen. And if I get advance, I'm stopping this person from being able to come down this main firing lane, which is another very valuable use of them being so far infiltrated. To hold your primary for the next turn, still score you the Terraform, potentially 1 inch of the board if you need to, and there you go. You've scored big engage on all fronts as Death Guard on turn 1. So there's many ways that these 4 units in this sort of this sort of orientation, that you can deny the opponent with area denial. You can start scoring primary very quickly with Terraform, and make sure that of the ones that you can get, you will be scoring them. You could get dead draws like Assassination and Overwhelming Force. That's fair enough. There's nothing really you can do about it. But this true is the same about your opponent as well. Yes, you could potentially get these poxwalkers killed on here with Overwhelming Force, but if they're doing that, they're probably exposing more than 65 points worth of their army to do so. And if it's a melee unit, it's probably worth more as well, and it's not even guaranteed to happen because of it could be having the -1 to hit up. So this is something that I regularly do on the round 1 of UKTC, because it gives me so many options, and I know that I'm probably going to be scoring at least one of the secondaries the first turn, and if the Tallyman fails his 7-fold chant, then I'm going to go into round 2 with 3 CP or potentially 4 CP, because this detachment really likes CP. Obviously, with the crit 5s and the rerolls, you want to be hitting someone hard turn 2, and having as much CP as you can is very helpful for that. So it's not the worst thing if you get a dead draw, but also now that challenger cards are gone, getting a big early lead is also not a bad thing. And having the paired sort of strategy allows you to start the clock on the Terraform and still score your point. And finally, we've got how I would currently deploy the list that I'm playing at the moment. I will be taking this to a game on Thursday, and I think I've got a matchup against Chaos Demons, so we'll see how that goes. Just to run through, we have the Lord of Contagion and 3 Death Shroud in Deep Strike. We have a 5-man Plague Marines with the Lord of Poxers in Strategic Reserves. This is sort of my rapid ingress unit. I've been through this on the channel. Having this as rapid ingress coming on takes advantage of the 18-inch loan up of the Lord of Poxers, and it gives you a sort of mid to late game threat to come on, and because of the high OC, you got 5 OC plus the Lord of Poxers. You got 10 OC plus the Lord of Poxers. It's really good for securing sort of that late game primary and forcing the opponent to turn around. And the melee from the Lord of Poxers isn't the strongest in the universe, as we're led to believe by the articles, but it is still pretty damn good. We have Typhus, solo deep striking. He is just great for dropping down and doing an action where you need to, making the opponent turn around because it's a single base, and his mortals are always useful, whether that's freeing up a unit that's in combat and cleaning off that last wound, or getting mortals on something very difficult to usually damage. Really still a rate Typhus. I know a lot of people don't play him, but for me, he's a perfect toolbox piece. And then this is something I'm trying out as well at the moment. We've got the 5-man Black Lord. It's all shooty, so no flail. We've got the Reaper Autocannon, the Blight Launcher, the Spewer, and then 2 Combi Bolters, and they're with the Lord of Virulence. And they're actually going to be starting in the Land Raider. So we are utilising the Potswalkers as a screen, as I mentioned before, so we can't sort of get turn 1 jumped and the Land Raider gets stuck down here. Then we've got the... these would be a question of whether I put these here. If it was a fast melee army, then yeah, that's fine. If not, I'd probably rely on the Spawn on their own because of the shooting, and then the Potswalkers, if there was a deep strike threat, would come down here. Spawn would pretty much always go into their little nook down here because they would be my spread as a contagion across to the middle of the board. We've got a nice little setup on the right side here. So Potswalkers, as mentioned, supported by the Spawn, and then this drone can come out 10 inches sort of this way, and it's got line of sight down into here. It's got line of sight to the middle of the board if I really need it, but also you could go this way and you've just got shooting directly down to the person's home objective. There probably isn't anything there, but if you go second, there likely will be because they will have brought something out to do whatever it needs to be. So you gain angles into the middle from it with here. So I really like the blow drone down here, and the Tallyman down here, as mentioned, comes in and does his job with the objectives down here, and also screening the 9-inch for any deep strike down here. Centre of the map, obviously, I enjoy the Land Raider, so the Black Lords are starting in there. Depending on how aggressive you want to go, or if you go first or second, you can make it the 10 inches just down here, and again, it gives you sort of line of sight down here if you want it, or if they've exposed something on their home objective, and you've obviously got to be getting cover there. The Potswalkers can protect it if you need to, but also with the 10 inches movement, you can roughly get him sort of over onto the objective like this, and if the opponent has pushed out a considerable amount and you consider making that charge, you're getting that 3 inches here, and then obviously you've got whatever sort of charge you can into here. Most of the time, this Land Raider is playing semi-safe, ready for that turn 2 push, because then you can just come straight out or rotate to come out, and then you've got a bit more of a threat going in turn 2. The Blight Lords can come out turn 1 if you need to, if they have sent something there. Not worried about sending something out to do that, and if you are doing that, you're then reloading the Plague Marines into the Land Raider. But if not, the Plague Marines go up sort of behind this wall, ready to jump out on anything turn 2. That's how I probably would deploy with my current list that I'm going to be trying out. As mentioned, I'm sadly not going to LGT, but I have got a ticket for Coventry, so hopefully that there will be no changes after LGT, but if there are, I might do a little video update for round 1. But that's it for everything I've got to say about this sort of map with the Common Death Guard units. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Please do leave any comments down below, and do subscribe and give the video a like. It would be very much appreciated. Hopefully make the channel grow if I can. But yeah, do keep an eye out for the round 2 deployment video. Obviously the way that LGT have their layouts, I think 2 and 4 now are the same. 3 and 5 are very similar, but with the minor tweaks because of the additional objective in the middle for the 6 objective map. So yeah, I'll get the round 2 out as soon as possible, and I'll see you all soon.